Do you think all nuts are good for your health? Have you heard that simply adding walnuts or almonds to your diet is enough to protect your heart and memory? And what if I told you that some of these popular foods might actually be accelerating your body's aging process, increasing your risk of cardiovascular diseases, and even harming your brain? That's right. What many people don't realize is that frequent consumption of certain types of nuts, especially the wrong ones, can increase the risk of heart problems in older adults by up to 48%. And the most alarming part? Many of these nuts are probably sitting in your pantry right now. Some of them, even the ones considered healthy, may be raising your blood pressure, silently triggering inflammation, clogging your arteries, and impairing your cognitive function, all without you knowing it. But don't worry, in this video, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know to safely choose which nuts to include in your diet, especially if you're over 60. You'll find out which nuts are best for your heart, brain, and bones, which ones you should consume in moderation, and which you should avoid entirely. And later in this video, I'm going to reveal the most dangerous nut of all, one that's rarely talked about, but could be silently damaging your health. Stick with me until the end, because this information could completely change the way you eat. Let's begin with the nuts that bring the greatest health benefits. In fourth place, we have almonds, true powerhouses for your bones. With an impressive nutritional profile, almonds help strengthen your bone structure, protect your heart, and support healthy digestion. Just 1 cup of almonds provides about 97 milligrams of calcium, an essential nutrient that becomes increasingly deficient with age. After the age of 65, bone loss accelerates, and falls that once seemed harmless can lead to serious fractures. Almonds help slow that process, but the benefits don't stop there. Almonds are also rich in magnesium, another mineral that many older adults don't consume in sufficient amounts. Magnesium helps ensure that calcium is delivered to the bones instead of accumulating in the arteries, where it can lead to dangerous blockages. Additionally, the monounsaturated fats in almonds help lower LDL cholesterol, the bad kind, and improve cardiovascular health, which becomes more critical as we age. There's more. Almonds can also help relieve constipation, a problem that affects around 40% of the older population, thanks to their high fiber content, approximately 3.5 grams per serving. And here's something even more impressive. A study conducted by Tufts University found that eating almonds may help prevent oxidative damage to brain cells and slow cognitive aging. This is thanks to their high content of vitamin E, combined with flavonoids found in the almond skin, a duo that provides an enhanced antioxidant effect. One important note: for older adults who have trouble chewing or swallowing, whole almonds can pose a choking risk. That's why it's best to chew them thoroughly, or opt for sliced almonds, almond flour, or natural almond butter without added sugar or oils. So, what's the ideal amount? Between 15 and 20 almonds per day is a safe and effective dose. Choose raw or dry roasted varieties without added salt. Avoid sugar-coated or chocolate-covered almonds, and whenever possible, buy them with their skins on. The skin helps preserve nutrients and prevents the healthy fats from oxidizing. And now I want to hear from you. Do you eat almonds regularly? Have you noticed any health improvements since you started including them in your routine? Share your experience in the comments. I'd love to know. In third place, we have walnuts, widely known as true brain food. And it's not just because they look like miniature brains. They actually nourish the nervous system like no other nut. Walnuts are the richest plant-based source of omega-3 fatty acids, especially in the form of alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, which is essential for preserving and improving cognitive functions in older adults. These omegas help maintain the integrity of brain cell membranes, improve communication between neurons, and reduce neuroinflammation, a key factor in diseases like Alzheimer's and dementia. A recent study published in the Journal of Nutrition showed that older adults who consumed about 1.5 ounces of walnuts per day for 8 weeks experienced significant improvements in processing speed and cognitive flexibility. But that's not all. Walnuts also contain neuroprotective polyphenols capable of crossing the blood-brain barrier, a structure that prevents many substances from reaching the brain. This means these compounds can act directly to reduce inflammation and oxidative stress in the brain. Another impressive benefit is that walnuts are a natural source of melatonin, the sleep-regulating hormone that naturally decreases with age. Including walnuts in your evening routine may help improve sleep quality, something vital for both mental and physical health. And let's not forget the heart. Walnuts contribute to cardiovascular health thanks to their unique combination of arginine, polyphenols, and healthy fats. Arginine helps maintain vascular elasticity, which lowers blood pressure and improves circulation, both critical factors in preventing heart disease. To preserve their benefits, walnuts should be stored in the refrigerator. Their delicate oils can become rancid when exposed to heat or light. The ideal daily intake is 7 to 9 walnut halves. You can eat them plain, combine them with berries, or crush them over salads and yogurts. Here's an extra tip. Cracking walnuts yourself, either by hand or using a tool, can be a great fine motor exercise, helping maintain hand strength and coordination, skills that naturally decline with age. If the slightly bitter taste of walnuts bothers you, don't worry. It's actually a good sign. That bitterness comes from potent antioxidants in the skin. In other words, that intense flavor means you're getting high protective power in every bite. Next, let's talk about pistachios, powerful allies in managing blood pressure. Among all nuts, pistachios are perhaps the most underestimated, especially by older adults, but their health benefits are so significant that they easily earn a place in the top 3. What makes pistachios special is their balance of key minerals. A single serving provides about 285 milligrams of potassium, a nutrient that helps neutralize the negative effects of sodium on blood pressure. Even better, pistachios are naturally low in sodium. This balance is especially important because many older adults experience mild kidney dysfunction, which reduces the body's ability to eliminate sodium. By consuming potassium-rich foods like pistachios, the kidneys can better remove excess salt, helping to reduce blood pressure. In fact, research shows that regular pistachio consumption can lower systolic pressure by 3 to 5 points, an effect comparable to certain medications but without side effects. Another valuable perk, pistachios contain lutein and zeaxanthin, 2 antioxidants that accumulate in the macula of the eye, helping protect against age-related macular degeneration, the leading cause of blindness in adults over 60. Concerned about dental health? Pistachios are softer than most nuts, making them a smart option for people with dental prosthetics or sensitive gums. Plus, their natural shells serve as a built-in brake against overeating. Having to shell them slows down consumption and encourages more mindful eating. They're also beneficial for people with diabetes or prediabetes. A serving of shelled pistachios offers 3 g of fiber, which helps regulate blood sugar and improve insulin sensitivity. So, how should you eat them? Around 49 pistachios per day, or about 28 g, is the ideal amount. Choose unsalted or lightly salted varieties and avoid those with artificial flavorings. If you suffer from arthritis, go for partially opened pistachios, which are easier to shell. With their soft crunch, appealing color, and subtle flavor, pistachios are more than just a tasty snack. They're a silent protector of your heart, eyesight, and metabolism, and topping our list is the Brazil nut, a true superfood for thyroid, brain, and nervous system health. Its impact is so significant that many health experts consider it one of the most powerful dietary choices for people over 60. What makes this nut so unique is its exceptionally high selenium content. Selenium is an essential mineral involved in the production and activation of thyroid hormones. Just one Brazil nut can provide between 96% and 137% of the recommended daily intake of selenium, making it the richest natural food source of selenium known. This is crucial because nearly 20% of adults over 65 suffer from thyroid dysfunction, often without a diagnosis. That's because the symptoms, like chronic fatigue, weight gain, mental sluggishness, and mood changes, are commonly mistaken for normal aging. Selenium also protects the brain from oxidative stress and supports energy metabolism, which is especially important for older adults who experience reduced vitality. But there's more. Brazil nuts also contain essential fatty acids that help preserve the myelin sheath, the protective covering around nerve cells that tends to wear down with age. Preserving this sheath helps maintain reflexes, coordination, and mental agility. What's even more interesting is that the selenium in Brazil nuts exists in organic form, which makes it much more bioavailable than the synthetic selenium found in most supplements. In simpler terms, your body absorbs and uses it more efficiently. However, caution is essential. Because of their high selenium levels, you should not consume more than 1 or 2 Brazil nuts per day. Overconsumption can lead to selenosis, a condition that causes symptoms like fatigue, nausea, hair loss, and even neurological damage. To preserve their nutrients and healthy fats, store Brazil nuts in the refrigerator, ideally with the shell on, as this keeps them fresher for longer. Enjoy them as a snack. Add them to smoothies or finely chop them to sprinkle over yogurt or salads. Their sweet flavor and creamy texture mean that even a small portion is satisfying, ideal for those who need to manage appetite or calorie intake. Now that we've covered the nuts that offer the most benefits, it's time to look at the other side of the coin, the ones older adults should avoid or consume with extreme caution. Not all nuts are your allies. Some can be silent threats to your health. Let's begin with the fourth most problematic nut, the peanut. Though it's found in almost every household, peanuts are not technically nuts, they're legumes. And that difference matters. Because they're legumes, peanuts are more vulnerable to contamination by aflatoxins, toxins produced by mold that can damage the liver and increase cancer risk, especially with regular consumption. This is particularly concerning for older adults whose bodies are less effective at eliminating toxins. In addition, peanuts contain proteins that can trigger inflammation, even in people who aren't allergic. For seniors already dealing with joint pain, hypertension, or cognitive decline, this adds an extra burden to the system. There's also the issue of commercial peanut butter. Most store-bought varieties are loaded with added sugar, hydrogenated oils, and sodium, all of which worsen heart and metabolic health. Even natural peanuts are high in omega-6 fatty acids, and if your diet lacks enough omega-3s to balance it out, peanuts can contribute to chronic inflammation. Another important consideration: peanuts contain vitamin K, which can interfere with blood-thinning medications like warfarin, commonly prescribed to older adults. In summary, daily peanut consumption is not recommended, and if you choose to eat peanut butter, make sure it's 100% natural, no added sugar, salt, or oils. Even better, swap it out for almond or walnut butter, which have a more balanced nutritional profile. Next up are cashews, a nut that looks innocent thanks to its soft texture and sweet taste, but can be a hidden trap for aging bodies. Cashews have a high glycemic index and around 9 grams of carbohydrates per 1 ounce serving, making them risky for people with diabetes or prediabetes, a condition that affects about 25% of adults over 65. They also contain oxalates, compounds that interfere with calcium absorption and increase the risk of kidney stones, a common issue among older adults. Cashews carry enzyme inhibitors that make it harder to digest proteins, which is especially problematic for seniors who already face challenges with nutrient absorption. Adding to the concern, many cashews are roasted in oil and heavily salted, contributing extra sodium and unhealthy fats to the diet. And due to their curved, slippery shape, cashews can pose a choking hazard, particularly for individuals with swallowing difficulties. The recommendation is simple. Replace cashews with safer options like almonds or pistachios, which offer better nutritional profiles and fewer digestive or metabolic risks. Next, we have macadamia nuts, known for their creamy texture and mild flavor. But they can pose a hidden danger for older adults. Macadamias are the most calorie-dense nut, with about 200 calories per ounce. That's a concern for aging bodies, as metabolism slows down with age and weight control becomes more difficult. The gallbladder's efficiency also decreases over time, and macadamias contain nearly 22 grams of fat per ounce. This high-fat content can trigger digestive discomfort, especially in people with undiagnosed gallstones. Even more worrisome, they contain 3 grams of saturated fat per serving, which can raise LDL cholesterol levels, already a concern for many older adults. Their hard texture makes them unsuitable for people with dental work, prosthetics, or weakened enamel, and because of their high cost, many people buy cheaper versions that may be rancid or improperly stored, increasing the risk of consuming oxidized fats. To make things worse, their pleasant taste can lead to overeating, especially in seniors with reduced satiety cues. And while macadamias are sometimes praised for heart health, many of those claims come from studies that don't clearly distinguish between types of nuts. So if you've been including macadamias in your diet, thinking they help your heart, you might want to reconsider. Pistachios or regular walnuts offer a safer and more balanced profile. And finally, the number one nut older adults should avoid at all costs: pine nuts. Despite their small size and popularity in dishes like pesto, pine nuts pose multiple health risks to older adults. They contain chemical compounds that can interfere with many commonly prescribed medications, including statins, antidepressants, and blood pressure drugs. More than 60% of prescriptions for adults over 65 could be affected by these compounds, potentially causing unwanted side effects or reducing drug effectiveness. One particularly alarming consequence of pine nut consumption is the so-called pine nut syndrome, a taste disturbance that causes a bitter, metallic sensation lasting for days or even weeks. While it may sound minor, for older adults, this can lead to loss of appetite and, over time, malnutrition. Pine nuts are also rich in highly oxidizable polyunsaturated fats, which, if not properly stored, can become inflammatory compounds that worsen conditions like arthritis. Their small size and slippery texture also make them a choking risk, especially for those with dry mouth or swallowing disorders, problems that affect over 70% of older adults taking multiple medications. To make matters worse, pine nuts contain digestive enzyme inhibitors that further impair protein absorption, a serious issue for aging bodies. Even using them frequently in recipes like pesto may be risky, as some recent studies suggest certain pine nut chemicals could accelerate macular degeneration, the leading cause of vision loss in older adults. In short, pine nuts should be avoided, especially when there are much safer and more nutritious alternatives like almonds or walnuts. The truth is, choosing the right nuts can have a profound effect on an older person's health, energy, and cognition. As we've seen, some nuts offer extraordinary benefits for the heart, brain, bones, and metabolism, while others can act like silent saboteurs, loaded with toxins, inflammatory fats, or risky drug interactions. The key is to make conscious, informed choices based on solid information. Adding the right nuts, like Brazil nuts, almonds, pistachios, and walnuts, can significantly improve your quality of life, while reducing or eliminating peanuts, cashews, macadamias, or pine nuts can help you avoid unnecessary complications. Remember, small daily changes lead to big long-term results. Your body still has the ability to respond, adapt, and strengthen, as long as you give it the right tools. Now it's your turn. Have you noticed any changes in your health after switching the types of nuts you eat? Which of these nuts made the biggest impact on your life? Let us know in the comments. We really value your feedback. And if you found this content helpful, like this video, share it with someone who needs this information, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next health tips. For more valuable content on health and wellness in older age, visit our website, globalhealthguide.net. You'll find reliable, practical, and insightful information to help you live with more health and quality of life.